The coordinates of a point can be determined if we know the point from which it starts as well as the angle through which it rotates. So suppose a point begins here along the x-axis and then it rotates through an angle theta and ends up over here at coordinates x and y. We can determine these coordinates by drawing a right-angled triangle. Now the x coordinate of the point is represented by the horizontal side, and the y coordinate of the point is represented by the vertical side of this right-angled triangle. The radius here, or the hypotenuse of the triangle, we would know because it would be the same as the starting position of the point. So for example, let's say the point started here at coordinates 5, 0. The radius of the circle would then be 5, because that's the distance from here to here. So if we know the starting position, we know the radius, which is the hypotenuse of this triangle. So since we know the hypotenuse and we know the angle through which the point rotated, we can find these horizontal and vertical sides of the triangle using primary trig ratios. So if we're looking for the horizontal side, which would give us our x-coordinate, we would start by labeling it as the adjacent side in relation to angle theta, and then the radius, or will be the hypotenuse. And the primary trig ratio that involves the adjacent side and the hypotenuse is the cosine ratio. And then if I sub in x for the adjacent side and r for the hypotenuse and rearrange to get x by itself, I would end up with the x coordinate of the point being equal to r times cos theta. Okay, because in order to get rid of the r, I would have to multiply both sides by r. Now to find the vertical side, which would represent the y coordinate, I would label it as the opposite side in relation to the angle here. And since we have the opposite side and the hypotenuse now, we would use the sine primary trig ratio to find the y coordinate. The opposite side is the y coordinate, the hypotenuse is the radius, and rearranging for y gives us r sine theta. Therefore, the point can be determined by using r cos theta for the x coordinate and r sine theta for the y coordinate. So let's look at an example. It says determine the coordinates of the point P, x with coordinates x, y, resulting from rotation of 70 degrees centered at the origin and starting from the point 3, 0. So if the point starts at 3, 0, we know the radius is 3. We also know that the angle is 70 degrees. And we can use the formula from above to determine the coordinates of the point. So just subbing in the values, we have 3 cos 70 and then 3 sine of 70 degrees. And then we simply are going to use our calculator to find the final coordinates. So 3 cos theta, when rounded to 2 decimal places, is 1.03. And then 3 sine theta, 70 degrees, when rounded to 2 decimal places, 2.82.